Hey, this is Math 2, Unit 3, Worksheet 3D, talking about parallels. And so you're looking today at what happens when you have some parallel lines that are cut by a transversal. And so what that looks like is if I have a parallel line, or sorry, two parallel lines there, and I have a transversal, that means there's a line that cuts through the two parallel lines. When that takes place, I end up with a series of angles that are going to be equal to one another. So I end up with things like angle 4, these alternate interior angles, because they're on the inside, right? They're interior angles, are equal or congruent to one another. So I could have 5 and 4 congruent, and I also have over here 3 and 6 are also congruent because they are also interior angles. Now they're called alternating interior angles, alternate, because we're alternating which side of the transversal that we're on. Left side, right side, left side, right side. And it works that way. We also can say that corresponding angles are congruent. So for example, we could say that angle, let's do one here, angle 8, right, this guy here, 1, 2, 3, is congruent to this one right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 8 is congruent to 3. And those are going to be corresponding. So corresponding angles that are also congruent. Corresponding can be on the inside and the outside. In fact, they probably need to be. They can't go inside together because they're not going to equal one another. So let's take that bit of information and let's combine it with what we've already been talking about. Our other theorems dealing with things like side, 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 angle, angle, side, angle, hypotenuse, leg. We've talked about reflexive. We've talked about vertical angles. And then we also talked about bisectors as well. So we're just continue to add on to our list of things we know. So number 2, it says given that BA is parallel to CD. So you might want to draw it like this. So this is parallel to this. Okay. Prove that triangle ABD is congruent to triangle, we would say probably CBD or something like that. One of those things. Okay. If this is a parallel line, I'm going to draw this here like this so you can see it a little bit like our first one. If these are parallel lines like so, then what's being in place here is this line that goes across, if it was to continue, would be our transversal, right? It's going across there and cutting it into to equal parts there. If that's what's taking place, let's write down our given. This is given. Because that's true, we say that angle ABD, this one right here, is congruent to CDB right here. Okay? So that angle matches that angle. Now the reason this matches that is this is because we're talking about an alternate interior angle are congruent. So this angle here is congruent to that one, which also means that CBD, this one, is congruent to ADB, this one. Okay? And that's the same reason. They're alternate interior angles. Now I have an angle and I have an angle. Well, let's get a side here. Yep, there it is. BD is congruent to BD because of the reflexive property of congruence. So that's equal. So now I have an angle, side, angle, and an angle, side, angle. To prove why, triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CDB. And I do want to get the order right here. It's helpful. I know it's the same triangle, but I went from the outer point, right, A and C outer points, to the one with one line for the angle, one line, to the one with 2 lines, B, and then over here 2 lines, D and B. Okay, So that's how you're going to prove that's going to be true. Looking at number 3, it's the same idea, except now they don't give you all the nice statement things. You have to write them down yourself. So we begin by writing down what we know. BE is parallel to CD. So BE is parallel to CD. So this is parallel to that. Okay. AE is parallel to BD. Okay. So this line is parallel to this line. Alright. So this one here we can tell easily enough is a transversal. That's easy. It goes with that one there. But because this is parallel, what it's telling us is that whatever angle measurements we can find over here, they're going to be the same over here because these two lines are parallel. So that's going to be fine. And then we also have B is midpoint of AC. Alright, so that's the midpoint of AC. This is all of our given. If those are given statements, then let's look at the next step. We want to prove some things are equal. We got to find some angles and some side lengths. So let's start with a side length. You can start with the angle if you wanted to. I'm going to start with the side length, okay? I'm going to say that AB is congruent to BC. I'm going to say this line is congruent to this line. Now the reason I'm going to say that is this is the definition of a segment bisector. Because B was the midpoint, that means it bisected this line into two equal parts. So those are going to be equal. So now I have a side there. I want to get some more sides or some more angles now. So let's look at some angles. If I know that angle, let's see, where do we want to start? I could say that angle B is going to be the same as angle A. So measurement of angle A, and I can write it as EAB, is congruent to measurement of angle DBC. And the reason that would be is because those are corresponding angles, are congruent. Corresponding angles are congruent. Okay, so we're good there. And with that same, by that same measure, I could also say that angle, in this case here, I could say that this angle here and this angle here are corresponding. So I could say angle AEB is congruent to BDC. And that's the same reason, so I'll just leave it there. So now I have an angle, and a side that's not included. So I can say that triangle AE, or what do you want to do, EBA, it's fine. Triangle EBA is congruent to triangle DCB, and the reason for that in our case is angle, side. Angle, side. Okay, so that's how you would work that out. Again, different ways to go about it. I could have done step 3 before step 2 probably, and you might have picked a different angle. You just have to be able to use your reasons to explain why you think that's the case. Okay, hope that helps you out a little bit today with today's homework. Good luck on the rest of them.